That's the only
I
answer.
honestly was like, oh, that's a nickname for LeBron. The answer is actually LeBron James, so I guess we got that one wrong.
We call him the King where I'm from. And, I mean, that's the only answer. That's the only answer. They're going to only go as far as he go. Even though he had a triple-double last game and they lost, I think he's going to will this win tonight.
Do you need him to change the way he played in Game 1?
No. Why? He's the best player in the world. He don't need to change anything.
Because you can't depend on your teammates. Because you can't overcome a 20-point deficit.
Well, you can't change your game.
Because you know why I'm going to do it?
Why?
Because when after the game, you know who they going to blame?
Me.
Right. So I'm getting ready to take over to make sure of that.
Well, one thing he's been doing this year, he's been letting everybody know that he's been doing his part. I'm doing my part.
Yeah,
so we don't have to worry about that. He's going to let you know he's doing his part.
Pat
myself on
and then on the other side, there you go. Even it out.
Go ahead.
Here's
the thing. If LeBron says he's not nervous, I've been down 3-1 in the finals, 0-1 to Indiana isn't. I'm not
facts
tripping.
now. That's facts.
Absolutely. We are going to see, based on his approach to tonight's game, whether he's telling the truth or not. When LeBron, we haven't seen many instances in the Eastern Conference of LeBron's back being up against the wall. In fact, there's only one since he came back to Cleveland I can point to. His first year back there, Kevin Love had just got his shoulder ripped out. They're playing the Bulls in round 2. They lose the first game of that series.
Derrick Rose MVP?
No, not Derrick Rose MVP. That was his first year in Miami.
Okay, yes.
This is his first year back in Cleveland. But Derrick Rose is playing in this series, right? They lose the first game in Chicago. LeBron comes out in Game 2, takes 29 shots. They win. They then lose Game 3 against Chicago. LeBron comes out in Game 4, takes 30 shots, including the game winner from the corner. That's the only time in the Eastern Conference playoffs we've seen LeBron really feel like, my team's got to have these games. We also have seen in the finals, LeBron's back up against the wall a bunch, how he responded his first year in the finals. Once Kyrie went down, he's taken all the shots. In his second year in the finals in Cleveland, when they won the title, once they're down 3-1, back-to-back 41-point games. Now, we've seen other instances where, like the Raptors, had them 2 apiece a couple years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals. LeBron says, this isn't adversity. His play spoke that it wasn't adversity. He didn't force the action. He didn't all of a sudden go Game 6 in Boston, LeBron James, it all starts with me. I'm curious to see what his approach is. Because if he wants to go out and score 40, I agree with you, CC. I think he can. I don't think that'll be his approach tonight. I think he's more likely to get 15 assists than 35 points tonight.
If you look at this team and you look at who actually has playoff experience, it's 3 guys. It's J.R. Smith, it's Kevin Love, and it's LeBron James.
Tristan Thompson, but he's a little busy right now. He got a lot of other stuff on his mind.
Exactly.
I mean, how do you not
trust him, right?
True.
How do you not look?
True.
Oh, True's the name of the baby this morning.
You got that right.
That
True.
Khloe Kardashian had.
We got it.
I'm surprised I knew that. I just want to sit in the moment and let's move on. You got to look at those 3 guys to do something. Kevin Love already came out and said, yeah, I agree. We came out a little soft. LeBron said, yeah, you know, I could be a little bit more aggressive. Ty Lue is looking for them to step up a little more at the start of the game. Because if it's not for them, who else do you look to step up? Because you're going to need contributions from somebody else.
Well, I mean, at this point, it has to be collective because, I mean, at this point, I can't even answer that question because I don't know who's going to show up. It's just been LeBron by himself for so long.
Who can you trust?
I can trust JR.
Thank you.
I can trust J.R. Smith. And like I said, LeBron, if you want to win, you need to go to J.R. and let him know, look, bro, I got your back. Go out there and be the player we all you can be. Because I think they held him back from all the stuff that's been going on during the season.
Right.
They are going to make a lineup change tonight, a starting lineup change.
It has to be J.R. Smith, though. Any other move is for nothing. He's the only one that has the guts, that can go out there and knock down these shots, and that can do it. The other guys, we're not confident in.
People forget, Game 7 of the finals, the Warriors had a good close of the second quarter to spread out the Cavs. I think it was a 6-point lead. Draymond had hit those 5 threes in the first half. What kept the Cavs within reaching distance? 8 quick points by JR to open the third quarter of Game 7 of the finals. It was also JR that slowed down Iguodala that allowed LeBron to get the iconic block. There is no situation that's going to be too big for JR. Now, he's coming off the worst regular season of his career.
Yes.
But so maybe JR, we've talked about the Cavs having to flip to switch. Flip to switch, switch to flip. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Like, JR, maybe he does. He played well. He was one of the few guys that played well in Game 1. That's the lineup change CCU pointed to. I mentioned maybe Nance in for Green. You liked the idea of JR in for Hood.
Yes. No, I like the JR being in the lineup. I wouldn't even mind. I would listen to taking Green out of the lineup, but I would go with the smaller lineup. I would go with Rodney Hood at the 3, LeBron at the 4, Love at the 5. I would put them both because those are the 2 best shooters besides Kevin Love. I would put them both in the lineup and how Kyle Korver still plays some minutes to supplement them coming off the bench.
They have to realize Kyrie's not coming out that locker room.
No.
So somebody else got to get it done.
And I believe this to be a must-win game for the Cavs. CC thinks that you're not picking the Pacers to win, but you wouldn't be shocked if they win.
No, I wouldn't be shocked to wake up tomorrow and no, absolutely not.
What was your reaction to that, Steve?
Bledsoe's a little brother of mine, so I know what that meant. I'm going at it next game. I'm taking the personal next game.
He was going at him these 2 games.
What you waiting on? It's you 2 games late to show up. Rozier's been playing well, and if you don't know who he is, let me tell you. He's the guy out there balling with the gold Kyrie's on with the Lucky Charms on. That's the guy. That's the guy. We see
those
the guy.
shoes were fresh.
What? Kyrie, I need some ASAP. I need some.
With the Lucky Charms.
But if you don't know who he is, look for the guy with the gold shoes that's averaging almost 25 points.
Or how about the guy who crossed you up to hit, theoretically, the game winner in game 1?
Exactly.
Like, it's not just like I would maybe understand the frustration if it was a one-off game. If it was a one-up, Bledsoe had been playing great, and then one game Terry Rozier goes and gets him. But it's back-to-back games.
When I saw the interview, I just thought about the tweet when he got him out of Phoenix. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
The same place as that interview. What'd you say? I don't want to be here right now answering about how this guy has dominated me 2 games.
Well, like, can we show everyone, like, the backcourt comparison? Because this is the story of this series. Look at this. The Celtics starting guards outscoring the Bucks starting guards 96-25? 96-25? Now, I understand Tony Snell's struggling and he's not playing heavy minutes. But Eric Bledsoe...
Hey, I don't understand that, man. If you find Tony Snell, apprehend him and take him to the arena. Okay, where are you at, bro?
But Eric Bledsoe was supposed to be the major midseason acquisition. Eric Bledsoe's supposed to be a good enough player that we thought LeBron was sending out Arthur gifts because he didn't get Eric Bledsoe. Remember? Like that.
Yeah, that's the general manager, LeBron, which is not the greatest either.
You can't average 10 points a game and get outplayed by Terry Rozier. Even if Terry Rozier is an underrated player, Bledsoe's got to be better than what he's been for them to have any shot in this series.
Well, around the league, Rozier is not underrated. I think he earned his credit. You know, guys respect him now. You know, even the work he's did last year. But filling in for Kyrie and how he stepped up this year, I think he's gotten everybody respect now. And Bledsoe, you better wake up because you're about to be sent home if you don't wake up.
And I wouldn't give him a chance to wake up. I would still playing, still starting. But Malcolm Brogdon, the Rookie of the Year last year, I would put him on Rozier because he's a bigger body. He's a better defender. Now, that's what I would do. I would get him more. Now, I think he's on a minutes restriction, but I would get him more than 15 to 18 minutes in the game.
Stephen, we talk so much about how important experience is in the postseason. Here's a Boston Celtics team where their main guy is out. Gordon Hayward was out a couple minutes into the first game. They've got 2 rookies that are leading the way, and they don't seem intimidated. They don't seem nervous. They seem to be in full control. Even when the game was almost lost in game 1, they were able to come back in overtime and have the composure. Talk to me a little bit about this team.
Well, when you're in a position like Danny Ainge, you want to get that third pick that they got twice. You want to get somebody that you know that you can rely on. These kids were solid in college. I think that's what they have and what they're showing now. Danny Ainge didn't know when he drafted them. Nobody couldn't have known.
Yes.
What they're showing right now is something this is stuff we talk about that you can't teach. Being able to make shots, being able to play in these moments and not get rattled, being able to be thrown in the fire, you know, being able to dance underwater and not get wet. You know, these guys have been able to do that, and that's why they're up 2-0.
And Jaylen Brown taking over. Tatum dominated the first game. He took a more defensive role in the second game. And Jaylen Brown took over the scoring. This, to me, speaks to Brad Stevenson and the coaching staff. Like, how you develop talent. Everyone's got talent, but can you develop that talent? Now what it's going to lead to, which is going to be a great problem they're going to have this offseason, they got a surplus of young players.
Yes,
a surplus of picks, a surplus of young players that I would believe will lead to them getting a franchise player this offseason.
Here's the part of this series that doesn't make sense. You tell me, after 2 games, Giannis and Middleton are going to combined be averaging 60 points on 63% shooting.
Yes.
Don't let the shooting percentage go by the wayside. So they're going to be averaging 30 apiece, both shooting over 60%. And the Bucks are going to be down 0-2?
Yeah, because they have the better player, but Boston has the better team.
And sometimes we do too much in sports of deifying the coaches, particularly in college basketball. And sometimes but I don't think you can give Brad Stevens too much credit. I feel like he's going up against Joe Prunty, and I understand he's an interim coach. I understand the Bucks thought they were going to upgrade from anyone with Jason Kidd. I thought anyone would be an upgrade over Jason Kidd. That hasn't really proven out to be the case. Mm-hmm. But it feels to me like the Celtics are starting each game of this series out up 10 or 12 points before the ball's tipped because of what they're going to do sideline out of bounds, because of what they're going to do baseline out of bounds, because of what they're going to do end of quarter execution. That has been such an edge for the Celtics in this series.
Well, I think what you have to give Brad Stevens is me knowing what it takes in the playoffs to prepare and to be able to get through the playoffs and win a championship. You have to have a coach that can prepare you. And the preparation that he's giving these guys, the detail on defense, they sticking to it. They following the game plan to a T, and that's why they're up 2-0. But you have to give credit to the coach because at the end of the day, the game plan has to come from him. These guys don't know how to come with game plans. They're sticking to it, but their talent is getting them over.
That's the first thing Jaylen Brown said after the interview. They interviewed him on the court after the game. He said, Coach Stevenson gave us a great game plan. And when you can go into the game with that kind of confidence, knowing that you have a plan to attack them. Now it's interesting to see what is Milwaukee going to do to counterpunch. What are they going? Are they going to still play 13 guys? I told them they need to tighten up their rotation.
They got 7-8.
Yeah, they got too many guys playing 1 to 5 minutes with no contribution.
How far do you think this Boston team can go? And has that changed at all from what you've seen in the last 2 games?
Well, no, it hasn't changed. They're still solid. Obviously, I believe more in them with Kyrie, of course.
Yeah.
But with this team, I think they still can make the Eastern Conference Finals. With the confidence they're playing with, like I said, the coach matters in my mind, definitely having a great coach. But these young guys are confident. Game 3 is going to tell a lot. When you go on the road on Game 3, they're going to take a lot of runs from Milwaukee. They're going to take Milwaukee's best punch. If they can pull this out, you're going to see the growth of this team.
I don't think this series is over yet.
No, it's not.
I think this is, I understand, I think being up 2-0 the way the Pelicans are, you're up 2-0 and you haven't played a home game yet. Okay, now we can start thinking about, but when you're up 2-0 as the home team, and one of those games was won in overtime,
right.
Yes.
Even though they were very impressive last night, I don't think this series is over yet. Now, obviously, it's over if the Celtics win Game 3, but I'm not ready to say, to advance the Celtics in the bracket just yet.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.